Hey guys, welcome to tonight's episode of Shut Up and Watch. I'm your host, Nathan Young, and tonight we have a very special guest who's very important to the university here, but not a lot of people know a lot about him. He's very well known, but we don't entirely know a lot about him personally. And hopefully tonight we'll get to change a little bit of that. So please welcome Dr. Gary Weier. Dr. Weier, hello. Thank you so much for coming here and being with us on the show.
Glad to be with you here tonight, Nathan.
So what is your official title here at the university?
Official title is Provost and Executive Vice President for Academic Affairs. And I'm also a member of the Communications faculty. So.
All right. Now what in the job of Provost and that second job, which I already forget the name to.
Don't worry about that. It's perfectly fine.
What is kind of like a quick summary of what you do here?
Well, I have the privilege of working with basically all the people, all the departments that touch students here at BJU. So academics and student life and admission and recruiting and communications and institutional research and planning and athletics. So
you do it all, basically.
No, I don't do it all, no sir.
Fingers in all the pies, so to speak.
Yeah, I get to dabble in a lot of things, and it's a lot of fun.
Very cool, very cool. Now, I know a lot of us as students can tend to forget, even if it's by accident, we can forget that our advisors and the faculty and administration were at one point just like we are. We're college students and stuff, and I'm sure you have a couple interesting or exciting stories from your college experience. So have at it. What are a couple of very interesting or exciting stories that you've got?
Well, I had the privilege of coming here as a student from my undergrad days, and that was a lot of fun. Back in the previous millennium, back in the 1980s, and one of the main reasons I came to BJU is that my older brother came here the year before I did. So he lived right next door to me. It was prayer groups back then, not discipleship groups.
Yeah.
And my brother he was a very studious kind of guy. But one night, in fact, it was the night before my first ever exams in college.
So kind of a stressful night already, a little bit.
Pretty stressful night. I mean, I was very much trying to figure the college thing out at that point, and I hadn't gotten there yet. So he walks over with one of his roommates and said he had learned this kind of new and neat trick, and that was taking a canister of stick deodorant and a lighter and lighting.
I can see where
because it's got alcohol in it.
Yeah.
So he does it. It's kind of like a candle there, and he thought it was really neat.
And I'm sure it didn't occur, and nothing could possibly go wrong, of course.
Nothing, except for the fact that eventually that deodorant's going to melt and drip down the side and start to burn his hand. So he shook it, and it went all over the floor in front of the door in Johnson 233.
So whoever's in Johnson 233 now can think that Dr. Weir's brother at one point set that on fire.
A few years ago. So there's this kind of black hole right there on the carpet, right in front of the door. Now the carpet never caught fire because it's fireproof, but the melted deodorant on top of it.
So I mean, what did you guys do? That's kind of a pretty stressful situation.
One of the best rules of thumb at BJU is confess right away. So we went down to the dorm soup and said, we had a little mishap here. And
I'm sure that was completely normal to explain. Sorry, we may or may not have set the dorm on fire.
He was very kind and very understanding. And he said he'd have to think about what would be done about this. And to this day, really, nothing was done about it in terms of my record. But hey, that's okay, I guess.
I'm sure that made your night before exams a little bit more exciting than you intended it to be.
I don't remember how I did on those first exams, but I do remember that incident the night before the exam.
Now, was that your only foray into the world of pyrotechnics here at school, or did anything else ever happen?
For whatever reason, I think I might have been a magnet for pyromaniacs, because I think it was about my junior year. I had another roommate, again in Johnson, third floor. I don't remember the room number. I think it was like 310 on the back side, facing out the back side. My roommate had gotten an Easter basket, that little the paper kind of grass stuff in the
Yeah,
bottom
yeah,
of the
yeah.
basket. He took it, lit it, dropped it out the third floor window, just kind of wanted to watch that little fireball drop, and I said to him, you know, that grass down there is still dormant. It's probably going to catch on fire when it hits the ground. And sure enough, that's what
Grass
happened.
caught fire. So I'm sure he was all of a sudden in a panic.
Oh yeah, ran down those steps as fast as he could, trying to stomp it out, couldn't stomp it out. I threw a wet towel down to him, and eventually it went out.
Quite a sight to see, I'm sure. And does that run in the family? Have you had any family incidents yet with fire?
No, a campfire is about the most I get in terms
Okay,
of
well that's good.
intensity,
So it didn't quite pass down to the next generation.
No.